stored procedures, and we are about to start with the functions. So as we seen, the functions are two types. One is user-defined function, another is built-in functions. Built-in functions are like count, average. Okay, just a second. Okay, so let me start with functions now. So functions, as I said, there are two types of functions, the built-in functions and user-defined functions. So Tejas, you wanted a list of built-in functions also, right? Hello. You'd asked me for that, right? Tejas, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay. Okay, now let's see. So as we have seen, function is nothing but a piece of code which performs a particular task. It accesses parameter and returns a single value as opposed to stored procedure. Stored procedure may or may not return a value, but function always returns a value. And functions can be used within the query. If you want to run the stored procedure, you have to use exec. You have to use the keyword exec and the procedure name, right? So there are two types of functions, built-in functions, which is count, average, get date, and user-defined functions. So these are two types of functions that we have. So let's take one example of a function. So just see what it is. Write a function to accept team ID and return sum of salary from that team for that team. So how we do it? We say create function, function name. You pass the parameter, returns. So this is a syntax. Create function. This is the name of function. This is the parameter passing is done in the bracket, and what it will return? Returns decimal, because we want to find the sum of the salary. So it's going to return the decimal value as begin. So then we say declare at sum sal, and then we say set sum sal equal to, we pass a subquery here, select sum sal from engineers where team ID equal to this. But we check, supposing you give a invalid team ID, so it is checking if sum sal is null. If the team ID is not correct or it is invalid, so it will give a null output. So it's checking that if sum sal is null, then set sum sal equal to 0 and return sum sal like this. Getting? So it is not going to return null, it is going to return 0. And then this is how, once the function is ready, once we create the function, then we can use it within the query like this. Select TID, comma, tname, comma, UFN team ID sal, TID as total sal from team like this. So you can see that these functions are user-defined functions. They can be used within the queries. Unlike stored procedure. Stored procedures, you have to run it individually. Okay, so come on, please take a snip of it, this and do it fast. Chalo. They just do you know how to, have you created functions before, or first time you're doing this?
I have created, sir. I was there in the last class. Sorry,
Okay.
last to last one.
Last class you were not present, right?
No, I joined, but for a little time. So, but last to last class I was there, so I know how it works.
Hmm. Okay, come on, take a snip of it, then implement this function. Let's see how it works. Okay, so who will share the screen? Mobita, will you share the screen?
Yes, sir.
Come on, everybody do it. Everybody is on the computer. Rinaldi, are you on the computer? Rinaldi, Adarsh,
Yes.
Sultan.
Yes, sir.
So everybody should do this exercise. Come on. So Rinaldi, did you write functions before? Anytime before? You guys may not be writing the functions in stored procedure yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
So take this chance. See, these are all very important topics. Getting chance to learn these, so don't miss the opportunity. I see some sluggish response. You know, people should connect in this. This is all important topics. I know everyone is busy. Yeah, so you can see that that function is called every time, and it's taking the TID as the input and it is giving you the output, the sum of salary, right?
TID we have to give in the bracket.
Yeah, it will pass. No, you're passing that TID. No, in the select query, the TID is passed to that function. Yeah. So that will
If
go
I
as a
want,
parameter. Hmm?
no,
Yeah,
I
tell
am
me.
asking if I want only 10 or 50, then it will come, means only 10, only 50, like this
Yeah,
way.
you say select. Then you say uh, select. Right to the next statement. Select.
Select.
Just say 10. The TID, instead of that TID, take say 10. But only thing is, it should be only for yeah, remove. No, 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 wait a minute. It okay. Select, run the everything. Let's see what happens. Run everything.
The second query,
Run it.
this thing.
Hmm. So it will not give proper answer. It's giving for everything is giving same answer, right?
Hmm.
So that is not the point. So what you have to do is just remove that from team. Just say remove from team. Let's see what happens. Remove that TID. Remove the other things also. TID, name. Just now run. So it will give like that. Okay.
Okay.
For particular thing, but you want it for everyone, right? So that's why we put in the query. Getting? Clear?
Yes.
Teachers, can you share your screen?
Yes, sir. Can you see it, sir?
No, it's coming still. Now it came. Yeah, it came now.
Yeah.
Okay, so Adarsh, are you done? Adarsh, Sultan, are you done? Adarsh,
Yes, sir.
No, sir. I'm just started. I have just started.
so why you didn't do it?
I joined late and I didn't had the query. So
Okay,
yeah.
so you didn't take the snip. What about
No.
Sultan?
Done, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, take the snip, Adarsh.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is called as, this type of function is called a scalar function. Why? Because it gives you one single output. So scalar function. Then this one is, the next one is table valued function. Now this function is going to return a table. Table is a data type in SQL, so it returns a table. So create function, function name, this thing returns table. So it's returning a table. So what it is doing, write a function to accept T name and return details of all the engineers belonging to that team. So you know that T name belongs to team table and engineer table has all engineers. So what this function is doing is going to return the entire details of that particular team. So obviously we have to join it. We have to use the join command for doing this. Okay. So what do we do here? It's a create function and this is the function name and we give a T name as a parameter and say returns a table. Table is a data type. Returns table as returns table as, so table it's returning and as return, and see we are putting the entire query in a bracket. So the output of this will be returned. It will return the output of this. It's a join query. Okay, come on, take a snip of this and do this. So this is a table valued function. Before what we did was a scalar function. This is a table valued function where the output is a table. And because it's a table, how we query, we say select star from that particular table because the output of this function is table. So we're passing Windows as a parameter, the team name as a parameter to this function. DBO is the schema name. You know that. Last time I showed you what is schema. All right. So take a snip of this. And Rinaldi, please share the screen. Rinaldi. Okay. So it's sharing the screen. Others, now you can do this query. Okay. Others.
Yes, sir. I'm doing it.
Okay, great. So basically it's a join query, we're joining the two tables. So that output of that join query we're returning back. So it's in the form of table. So table is also a data type in SQL, mind you that.
Getting this error.
That's returns table. It's S at the end. Not there, above.
Yes. Is it done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Everybody finished?
Sir, mine is not working.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is the issue? Share your screen, Momita. Let's see. What is the issue? What error you are getting?
Okay, okay.
What happened?
Return cell is done. Yes, it is coming.
Everybody is done, right? So I'm repeating that there are two types of functions. One is a scalar function which will return a value, and other is a table varied function which returns a table. Okay, is this clear? Tejas, understood?
Yes, sir.
Great. I'll be sharing one document for built-in functions as you had requested. I have something, so that reference I'll share, right? Can built-in functions, there are a lot of built-in functions in SQL, so those you can refer actually. This is user-defined functions, the functions which we create. All right, so now so we are done with the functions. So I told you, see, the scope of this study is limited just to understand what are functions, what are stored procedures. But to further do it, you need development knowledge, you need programming knowledge. Just trying to do whatever is best. So next topic is very interesting, triggers. So do you know what is a trigger? Anybody knows what is a trigger in database? Tejas, what is a trigger in database?
Trigger in database. So we have certain things like in our office. So if the data reaches in some table, data reaches at this point, it throws a trigger. Is it like that?
Yeah. So triggers are nothing but stored procedures which are fired based on some events. Okay. Automatically those stored procedures are fired depending on the activities or the events which are happening. So those are triggers. So they are very, very useful. So you can see that these are triggers. Triggers, it is a stored procedure which is fired automatically in response to the events such as insert, delete, update. Okay. So that is trigger. So it is a stored procedure which is fired automatically in response to the events such as insert, delete, update. So there are two types of triggers. One is after trigger, another is instead of trigger. So after trigger is fired automatically after the action is completed. And instead of trigger is fired before the action is completed. So it will check whether the action is valid or not. Only if the action is valid, it will be allowed to execute, otherwise not. So we have after trigger and we have instead of trigger. So we have two types of triggers. Okay. So it's like एक ट्रिगर ये है कि आफ्टर ट्रिगर इट्स लाइक पुलिस वारदात होने के बाद पुलिस जब आती है दैट इज आफ्टर ट्रिगर. इंस्टेड ऑफ ट्रिगर मींस वारदात होने के पहले पुलिस पहुंचती है, तो दैट इज इंस्टेड ऑफ ट्रिगर. It's clear to everyone? Please take a snip of this. Go to the next one, next slide. Let's see what is the use case of trigger. So use case of for trigger is like notifications for an important event, like you know when the salary is credited in the bank, don't you get a notification, right? You get notification SMS. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so this is a use case for the trigger. The notification, automatically notification will come as soon as the salary is credit in the bank is sending you notification. This is happening with the trigger action. Then auditing of the events. A big order is generated, it can be stored in an audit table which is reviewed by the managers. That's what you told me, no? They just like something happens, like which activity okay, so this is what you told me. Hello.
Yes, sir. So हमारे यहाँ पे मतलब कुछ टेबल्स रहते हैं जिसमें अगर डेटा जा रहा है, दैट मींस देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम इन client system. So it automatically, we have some triggers set which automatically throws an error that the data is not properly processing for this particular client. Please reach out to them and work on this database.
Right. So trigger action. Can you repeat again? Sorry, Tejas. What? Let me understand completely. What did you say?
Yes, so कैसा है कि जैसा डेटाबेस है, तो डेटाबेस में हम लोग के यहाँ पे दो टेबल्स है। एक दो एप्लीकेशंस है, तो एक एप्लीकेशन से दूसरे एप्लीकेशन में डेटा जाता है। तो फ्रॉम फर्स्ट एप्लीकेशन जो उसका लास्ट टेबल है, उसमें डेटा अगर अक्यूमुलेट हो रहा है और प्रॉपरली प्रोसेस नहीं हो रहा है, बहुत सारा डेटा जमा हो गया है विच इज अंडर प्रोसेस, तो एक ट्रिगर जनरेट होता है कि वो अगर 1000 से ज्यादा हो गया तो इट ट्रिगर्स एन ईमेल। तो उनके जो प्राइमरी सपोर्ट है वो लॉग इन करके चेक करते हैं कि डेटा प्रोसेस क्यों नहीं हो रहा है।
Okay. But is it trigger or it's just a programming thing? Are you sure it's trigger?
यस, ट्रिगर ही है, मतलब आई हैव बीन इन्फॉर्म्ड।
Okay. All right. So let's see. So these are two use cases. We are going to, for practice, we are going to use audit wala. So when we perform some activity, automatically some records generated and stored in the audit table. That's what we're going to do. So let's see how to do it. So for trigger, you have to understand that there are some tables, like there is a table called inserted table and there is a table called deleted table. These are like temporary tables, or we can call it as shadow tables. So what happens is when you insert any record, so the data is going into the inserted table first. Inserted table is like a placeholder, and from there it goes to the provider table. Similarly, if you want to delete something, whatever we want to delete, you will see in the deleted table. So this inserted table and deleted table, they are like placeholders, which is a exact structure. Its structure is same like that of your original table. So every table has a shadow table or a temporary table. So please take a snip of it. So you have to understand that whenever you insert something, first it goes to insert table and from there it will go to the provider table. Similarly, whenever you delete something, it gets deleted, but whatever data is deleted, whatever row is deleted, it will be there in the deleted table for some time. So the triggers can inspect these inserted table and deleted table to see what activity was done. Getting my point? So these are like trails, you know. Okay, so once this is done, then we can go to the next thing. See, when it is update operation, it is both insert and delete. Do you agree with me? When you update some rows in the table, it is both insert as well as delete, right? Why it is so? When you're updating, it's both insert as well as delete. Why it is so?
Because anytime you update an entry, you have to replace it. So to replace it, we have to delete that entry first and write the new entry over there.
Correct. So when we will do the update command, that time it will do both the job. I mean, you will see uh, in the deleted table, you will see the old record, and in the inserted table, you will see the new record. So again, I'm saying these are like temporary tables. They're called as shadow tables or magic tables. Some people call it magic table also. So the triggers will always look at these inserted table and deleted table to understand the things. What actually happened, because like after trigger, as I said, it will be fired after the event has occurred. So once the trigger is fired, it will inspect this inserted and deleted table to check what actually happened. It was the insert operation or delete operation or update operation, and what was inserted, what was deleted, what was updated, it will come to know. And accordingly, it will take the action. Is this clear to everyone? It's like shadows, like you have a shadow, right? Which is a true copy of yourself, something like that. Right? So here you can see, so whatever I said, it is mentioned here. So you can take a, it will uh, take a snip of this. Done. Snip is taken. Now let's take the questions now. So these are the questions which we are going to do. So as I said, we are going to use the second use case, which is of auditing. That means it will generate an audit record for the activities. So please take a snip of this. These are the questions which you are going to do for the after trigger. So what is the difference between after trigger and instead of trigger? Adarsh, can you tell me? Adarsh.
So after when we run the script, like for making any changes to the table,
Hmm.
and then we check, like, that would be the after trigger.
Not
Like
really.
once we insert something to the table, and after post that we check the table, like if the data is captured by the table correctly or not.
Okay. Uh, Sultan, can you tell me what is the difference between after trigger and instead of trigger?
Uh, I guess after trigger would be a confirmation if that trigger is working or not after an event is done. And
No, what is the trigger? Can you tell me what is the trigger?
trigger would be a kind of notification which is generated after something is done in the SQL.
No. Definition of trigger. Momita, can you tell me what is the definition of trigger? What is trigger actually?
if some events happen, then only the result will occur.
Rinaldi, what is a trigger? Can you explain?
And some event like insert, update, or delete, so it will make an entry.
No. Tejas, what is a trigger?
Um, when any event happens and we it triggers notification, that is trigger.
Trigger is a stored procedure which is fired automatically after some event occurs.
Yeah.
What is trigger? Trigger is nothing but a stored procedure. Trigger is a stored procedure which is fired automatically after an event occurs.
Okay.
After event occurs or before an event occurs, like event is about to occur, and so that is instead of trigger. So after trigger is something which will be fired. So trigger is nothing but a stored procedure. It is fired after the event. After trigger will fire after the event happens, and instead of trigger will fire before that event takes place. Means you have started an event and it will check whether it is a valid event or not. If it's valid, then it will do the job. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
So that is the difference between the two. Clear? So let's take the thing. We will, what we'll do to do this exercise, first we'll create one table called audit table. So create table audit provider PRID int PR name varchar 50 PR location date of admission and audit action. So just make this table. So this table we are using for auditing. So when any event occurs, so it is going to record in this table. So it is an audit table. Is it clear? So please make this. So who will share the screen? Sultan, can you share the screen to make this table?
Oh, sure, sir.
Or what I'll do is I'll make one more thing and then you can share. Wait a minute, wait a minute.
Okay, okay.
So you have to make a table and then you have to, I'll just explain one trigger and then you can share the screen. Just a second. Can you all see my screen again? दिख रहा है screen?
Yes, sir.
So you can see that this is this is the first win we are implementing, that whenever a new provider is inserted, the trigger action will take place. So just see the syntax, create trigger name on provider for insert operation. Okay. For means it's a after trigger. After insert operation happens, it will take place. As then we declare some variables. Variables are like placeholders, temporary variables. Then you know that when you insert any record, the inserted table will have all the data. Like so, trigger will look at the inserted table to see what data was actually inserted. So we say select at the rate PRID equal to I dot PRID, at the rate PR name equal to I dot PR name, at the rate PR location equal to I dot PR location from inserted I. So from the inserted table, it is understanding what was inserted and it's storing in the temporary variables or the placeholders which we created. And then we are setting the audit action as new provider inserted. And then we insert this information to the audit provider table which we just created. So this trigger is a stored procedure which will fire after we put a new provider. So after you do this trigger, after you execute it, then how to test it? You can insert a new provider. As soon as you insert a new provider, the provider gets inserted, but it will also create an audit entry in the audit provider table. Okay, so please take a snip of this. Is the snip taken?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now Sultan, share your screen. So do both the
Yes, sir.
activities. Create the audit provider as well as the trigger, and then insert a new provider to check whether that entry comes actually in the audit provider table or not. Yeah, are you
Yes,
sharing
sir.
the screen now?
Yes, sir. One sec.
Yes, so everybody please do this. I'm going to ask everyone.
Sir, sir, hello.
Yeah. Tell me.
So I have one question before I execute this.
Yeah.
Uh, this table uh, here inserted.
Hmm.
We don't have any table created like this, but it is going. Is it going to create a table saying inserted?
Yeah, it is automatically created. They're shadow tables. No, internally it is handled. We don't have to
Oh,
create.
and is it visible to us?
No, it's not visible to us.
Okay, so
It
this is
is
not going to be
accessible only
visible.
through. It is accessible only through triggers. Through triggers, we can access them. Nothing else.
Like through the triggers, we are going to insert the information in it, but we won't be able to see it. Like
Access
if
the.
I
We
run,
are not inserting. We are accessing because it is telling us what was inserted last.
okay,
Hmm. What
okay,
information was, because this trigger will fire after the actual operation is done, right? वारदात होने के बाद ये trigger
mm-hmm.
fire होता है ना? That's the thing.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay. So first, so ये complete है, uh, done.
Hmm. Yeah, the trigger is created now. So
Mm-hmm.
what you do is now you insert a new provider. Just say select star from provider first.
Okay, so insert a new provider with
Hmm.
PRID something else.
Hmm. Now you put a new provider. Let's see what happens.
Insert into provider. Let me know, sir, if I'm doing it correct. I'm not really thorough with
Yeah, sure.
this.
Give all the column names. Correct.
Okay.
Now you can see that it's inserted in the table first. Say select star from provider. It is there. Run this query.
Yes,
It
sir.
has come. But it
Mm-hmm.
is also entries also come in the audit provider. Say select star from audit provider now, the table which you created. Hmm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Do you see that it's created the audit, right? Audit record.
Mm-hmm.
Has anybody done completed? Rinaldi done? Adarsh, Rinaldi, Momita, Tejas.
So
Yes.
this is for insert, but if I do it update, it should state
Mm,
like that, right?
Yeah, we'll be doing in the next class for delete, for
Okay.
update. We'll take those scenarios.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank
So
you.
whenever you will insert a record in provider, it will create an audit entry here automatically. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Momita, were you able to do it successfully?
No, sir, still not done.
Who else has finished? Tejas finished?
Yes, I'm almost done testing it out. You want me to share my screen?
Yeah, please share the screen. Yeah.
So,
Yes, done.
yes, sir.
Great. So you could see the entry created in the audit table also, right?
Yes.
Yes. Others finished.
Sir, almost, sir. Still writing the
Rinaldi.
query.
Rinaldi, what about you? Rinaldi and Momita.
Doing
Momita done? Any errors? Anything? Any challenges coming? Let me know.
Yes, error is coming.
Yeah, share your screen. Let's see what is the error. What is the error? Can you read it out?
Incorrect syntax near adduction at the
Audit,
rate adduction.
audit action. Okay, audit action. What is the variable name you have? Audit action. You have not closed the bracket, I think, right?
Where
Insert values. No, that the bracket has to close, right? It's the insert command, right? Hmm. Now execute again. What it says?
PR name.
Read the.
Um, Invalid column near name PR name.
So in your provider table, what have you given? Just say select star from provider first to see what is the exact
No, no. I guess she has selected the incorrect table name. Insert into.
insert into odd provider. No, it's correct. No,
She would be selecting provider, right?
no, no.
I did it for provider.
Odd provider. You're putting in the odd provider. No, odd provider. You make it odd provider. No, give odd provider. Select star from odd provider. Let's see what column names you put. Who did for provider?
I did it, sir.
No, audit entry. Now audit odd provider is going right.
So,
See what is the column name there, Momita? PR name.
PRID, PRID, P name,
Uh,
PR
so
DU.
P name it is. So you have in the audit provider table, you have given the column name as P name, not PR name. No, that's fine. That is user defined. PR name, that it's fine. The insert into that the bracket, in the bracket you give the column names, no? So it will be just P name. Hmm. Hmm.
uh, I meant,
Yeah, so now it is executing, right? Now insert a new provider. Say select star from provider, insert a new provider.
Select star from provider.
Yeah, because you have written this for the provider, no? Trigger for the provider. So first check what is there in the provider.
Oh yeah, that was for the
Uh,
trigger, man.
Now insert a new provider. Yeah, what happened, Sultan?
So I thought it was outside of the trigger when you were adding the provider in the providers table, but now I get it. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Values.
Yeah, values. Yeah.
Now
Yeah, so it is gone into provider table, just select star from provider, but it's also gone into the audit record is also created because the trigger is, don't just select that, select star from provider. Yeah, yeah. So what do you get there?
it has been added.
Hmm. Yeah, then now check, select star from audit provider. That audit table you created, no? So check in that. An entry will come there also, audit provider. Yeah. You see this? It came, right?
Yes.
It created an audit entry automatically. It shows the trigger was executed automatically. Getting my point now?
Yes.
So, so I think it's clear to everyone that using this trigger action, one new record was inserted in the audit provider. Everybody's getting, anybody getting challenged? Rinaldi, Adarsh, done?
No, sir. Done.
Sir, done.
Adarsh, is it done for you? Tejas, Adarsh,
Yes,
Tejas,
sir. Done.
yeah, so
Yes,
very good.
that,
Yeah, so fine. So we have done today. We have seen about triggers. We just started. So in the next class, in the next week, we'll finish all this thing. Triggers, and then I will also show you what is cursor and all that. So a lot of topics we are going to finish. So I guess these are important topics you have not done before, right? Did you do all these things before, right?
no, sir, never.
So please make use of it. So please advise everybody to connect and don't lose the opportunity to learn. Actually, I have sorry, I have to remind everyone like that. So everybody should understand that manage your
So,
time such a way that you can attend classes.
so
Okay.
I
Yeah.
needed some questions on some of the topics
Mm-hmm.
uh, just to practice on over the weekend.
Okay.
Uh, is it possible to share for like for joins and stored procedures, like all the relevant questions which we can practice at home?